This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, that someone lays down his life for his friends. You are my friends if you do what I command you." Today, for many of us, ANZAC Day takes on a new level of grief. On a day like today, where thousands of people would normally wake up before the dawn and gather together to remember and commemorate, to sing and to pray, we're unable to do that today. And this comes with its own sorrow. Even more troubling with this situation, however, is that we as a society risk losing our Aussie spirit. A spirit which, it may surprise you, is intensely governed, directed and shaped by the gospel of Jesus Christ. During the First World War, boys and men left their homes and their families to fight. There was no conscription. They were not forced. And yet, countless diggers signed up to go to the Western Front. All this despite them knowing friends and brothers, uncles and fathers who already had lost their lives in bloody battle. What would make them sign up for a fate like this? It couldn't primarily have been a sense of adventure, to see the world, or even the camaraderie that they would expect to see in the force. No, they had seen what war was like. It was not pleasant. They had no real expectation that they would ever return. Overwhelmingly, their motive was self-sacrifice, a sense of duty to God, king and country, a slim hope that in fighting the enemy, even perhaps dying on another's behalf, that they might protect their country, society as a whole, those whom they loved, even the most vulnerable amongst us. I wonder, if we had another world war today, would we see people sign up in the way that they did back then? At the moment, we stay in our homes fighting a hidden enemy. Yes, there's the enemy of a coronavirus that preys on the most vulnerable. But there's also the enemy that comes from within. The eroding of our own Aussie spirit, our selfishness, our lack of care for others. Nowadays, we tend to be more consumed with stockpiling toilet paper than volunteering our time at the local football club. Well, self-sacrifice, as I've mentioned, is not a uniquely Australian trait. It came to us from our forebears as the Christian gospel travelled with us to these lands. In this gospel, this victory is not granted to the greatest and strongest, to those who trust in self-sufficiency and ego, but to the one who sacrifices him or herself for the sake of others. In polite Roman society, this was unheard of until Jesus stepped in and everything changed. Traits like humility and self-sacrifice were loathsome ideas until the cross of Christ. Why? Because Jesus died for an invisible enemy. For you and for me, so that our sin, of which our selfishness is just a symptom, so our sin might be defeated. Greater love has no one than this, that someone lays down his life for his friends. Well, it's the 25th of April 2020, and yes, ANZAC Day will be different for many of us. Personally, it's been hard to be excluded from people's homes, from hospitals and nursing homes, even from the cathedral itself. To not be in the trenches, so to speak, with our people when community and sacrificial love is needed the most. But today, no matter where you are, is a day to commemorate, to remember those who went before us, who served, who sacrificed, who followed in the footsteps of one who paid the ultimate sacrifice on the cross for our sakes, and yes, even ourselves to follow in his footsteps. Well, I hope you have a wonderful ANZAC Day. And if there's anything that we can do for you at the cathedral, please do not hesitate to give us a call. May God bless you.